guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're interested in vocal technique, pick up my ebook called Becoming a Natural Singer, or if you want one-on-one help, book a lesson through my website or drop me an email, links in the description. So what is the biggest problem musicians face today? I felt like somebody needs to make this video and nobody's making it, so it falls to me, unfortunately. If I'd have watched this or picked up this information 20 years ago, it would have saved me a hell of a lot of time. So I'm really just making this brief, short, succinct video to get the point across to people so that there'll be some young musicians out there that it will switch on the light bulb for and they will reassess where they're at and where they're going. So this is a problem that plagues musicians, and we're going to really just focus on it because it is so key that you understand this, and it's so key that you get your priorities in the right order, because if you don't, you will spend 20 years getting nowhere as a musician. What if we compare two artists, let's say Jacob Collier, Tash Sultana? Who's better? Audiences will just tell you who they prefer. They won't really know why. But musicians, and I'd say the higher percentage of musicians, will say, no doubt Jacob Collier is a much, much better musician. Well, hang on a sec. It's not that simple. The thing is, musicians tend to focus on what you can do. They're focusing on what Jacob can do versus what Tash can do. What Jacob can do is more complicated. It's musically more difficult, so therefore he's a better musician. Well, maybe, maybe not. I made a video about Jacob a few weeks back that got some criticism, but I stand by those ideas. They are correct, and over time people will start to realise more and more, Carl was right. Go back and watch it. If you want to check it out, you'll get some details about some of the things that I was thinking in terms of Jacob's voice. And let's just focus on the voices. So whilst Tash's music is harmonically less complex, so it's a simpler foundation for her music, a simpler baseline of harmonic variation for her music, however you want to describe it. It's simpler music, you can't get around it. But in terms of how she communicates with an audience, in terms of her emotional comfort, in terms of her clean approach, in terms of a clutter-free approach as a singer, yeah, she's much, much better. She has a wildly more developed ability to lean in and out of different coordinations as a singer, to build up dynamics, to bring them down to a whisper, to gentle coordinations. Her music is all over the place dynamically in a way that Jacob can't quite get to. But the broad point I'm trying to get across here is this, is the strengths of people as artists. They tend to slant a certain way depending on what you prioritize and value as a musician. And I'll tell you this, most musicians value what you can do too much over how well you can do it. Musicians care about what you can do, audiences care about how you do it. Musicians care about complexity, audiences care about execution. If you want to be a good musician, here's what you've got to realise. The audiences are right. Execution is more important than complexity. How you do it is more important than what you do. Bad musicians have a flipped upside down set of priorities. They care about what you do and complexity far too much, and they care about how you do it and execution far too little. Now, I'm not putting Jacob into that bracket because Jacob has a sense of balance. I would say he leans a little bit too far in the direction of what you do and complexity, and that's led to some of the weakness he has in the execution and how he's doing it. But it's not so far that he's not going to find success. Now, when I started, my balance was so out of sync that all I cared about was complexity and what I could do. I didn't care about if I did it well. I just thought, well, if I can do more complex things than the other musician, then I'm better than that musician. This is a plague in bad musicians. It is an absolute cancer in bad musicians. They completely obsess about what you can do, and all of that stuff, all that complexity. If it's guitar players, it's speed, it's complexity, it's knowing all of that stuff, and it's not the other stuff. Audiences only care about that. This is why you get musicians like Tash, who are very successful because they execute well. Nothing to do with the complexity or the knowledge, the deep knowledge that they have of music. They just do it well, and that's what sells. Now, why is that undervalued? Why do musicians not care about this? Because in actuality, it is more important than what you do and the complexity. And the reason it's more important is because it's the finesse that communicates, not the complexity. It's the finesse that breaks down the wall between individuals. And what I mean by that is the finesse creates a clean communication between your intent and the audience's ear. There's nothing in the way. Complexity cannot create that. It can create like, wow, look at that gimmick. That's cool. Let's go have lunch. It does not create a deep emotional bond. Finesse, how you do it, execution, that is what creates a deep bond with an audience. So what is the balance here? What am I trying to get across? You need a sense of balance and proportion between these two factors. You need to balance them out and understand why they're important. Yes, it's important to develop musically. Yes, it's important to develop more complexity, more understanding of what you're actually doing as an artist. But that should come secondary to the execution and how you're doing it. The finesse. Your baseline as a musician needs to be finesse and detail, not complexity. The complexity comes in the next layer. The baseline is how you do it, how well you do it. The next layer is what you do. How complex is it? If you have that flipped round, you will never earn money as a musician. But if you have a good baseline of execution, even harmonically simple music can be absolutely moving and generate a big audience. Tash being a great example. So the biggest problem facing musicians today is they prioritize what they're doing and complexity over how well they're doing it and how finessed it is, how well they're executing. So remind yourself every day, it's less about what I'm doing, it's more about how well I'm doing it. Remind yourself that is your foundation. If you add complexity, if you add detail to your harmonic knowledge, if you add speed, whatever it is, you have to have perfect execution as the baseline of that extra knowledge. If you add more complexity and you lose the perfect execution, your music will suffer. Your audience will disappear. You will have problems. If you're not very complex, but you execute with finesse and style and perfection, you will grow an audience. You will win the music game. You will be a musical winner, not a musical loser like myself and the other musicians who suffer with this cancer of complexity obsession, and most get trapped in it their whole lives, and they turn their nose up. They turn their nose up at artists like Tash. They're like, yeah man, it's just CFG, who cares, I'm a much better musician than she is. Well, no you ain't. No you ain't, because you ain't got no audience and nobody cares about your music. So there's some problem somewhere that you haven't noticed. It's a journey that I had to go through over a long period of time to get to this point of understanding what is more important. And whoever watches this video who's young, and you're starting out, whether you're guitar and singing or just guitar or whatever you're doing, I promise you, if you understand this video, you will never have problems as a musician again. And if you turn your nose up at it, you're in for a life of misery. It's as simple as that. So you make your choice, and we all make our choices, but this information is very good, and it is stuff that will revolutionize your thinking. It's stuff that will reset your mind and get you flipped round and understanding, okay, I need to make sure I'm focused on the right things. Once you flip it round and you start valuing these things I'm talking about, you'll start to see them. See, the problem is that people who are out of balance and only tunnel focused on complexity and what you do, they are blind to the execution and how you're doing it. So they don't see it, which is why they turn their nose up at it, because they're blind to it. The only way to see it is to look and spend time understanding it to the point where you're like, okay, there's something here. Ask yourself this. You go to an open mic. I'm one of these musicians trying to play music I'm not able to play, trying to play music that's too complicated for me and failing. Why doesn't it work? Why doesn't it fit in? Why doesn't it communicate well? Well, it's because I'm focusing on the wrong thing. I'm not doing it well. It's as simple as that. Bring it back, simplify to the point where you can master it and do it perfectly, and only at that point you get a true understanding of what level you're actually at as a musician. From there, you've got to build them up equally and understand there's always a balance. As soon as you get out of sync, you start getting back towards complexity and you lose execution, you're in trouble. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about the topic, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the description, in the comments. Thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll catch you soon. Bye, bye, bye.